Wow, is everyone feeling inspired? I don't need this.
Yeah.
Is everyone feeling inspired?
It makes me feel
Very nice.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So everyone's feeling inspired?
Yes.
Yes. How can we not feel inspired after all these incredible talks? Yes?
Yeah.
We're on a 6-day cruise on Royal Caribbean in the Western Caribbean, right? Surrounded by beauty and newness and just all this incredible energy.
Thank you.
There's like no way to not be inspired by this, right? You'd have to be half dead. Right? So, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Maybe it's not bad news for everybody, but by this time tomorrow, we'll all be either home or on our way back home or something, right? And while it is easy to be inspired among such beauty, right, and all of the newness, it's not always so easy to be that inspired when we're back in our regular surroundings, right? So what I thought I'd do for you, and why I'm glad I guess I got to go last, and I get to use all of you as inspiration and plug in here and there in my talk. But I wanted to give you some tools for when you return back home to your regular environment and regular life, and how to bring this ocean of inspiration with you. And they're all things that you have seen and have experienced throughout this journey that we've had over these last 6 days. But maybe I will give it back to you in a different way, maybe a way that you hadn't thought of or hadn't expected. The word inspire, to be, how did you say it, Rick? Your definition, to be with the universal, right? To be in spirit, to be in spirit, in God, inspired. But I think it's really awesome that the other definition of being inspired, or to inspire, means to breathe, right? You think about that, it means to breathe in. And the interesting thing about that to me is that to be inspired requires being in the present. I was totally inspired by Rick's talk, so I was able to be in the present with it, not up in my head where I started out. But being in the present moment allows you to receive the gifts of spirit, just like breathing, right? To breathe, we have to be present. You can't say, oh, I didn't breathe real well yesterday. I think I'll do better today. Or, wow, maybe I'll breathe some extra today so I don't have to breathe as much tomorrow. Right? No, crazy, right? Being inspired requires being in the present moment, just like breathing does. Just like breathing does. So we stay in the moment. We stay in the moment. So again, it's real easy when you're in the moment. You can be in the moment more easily when it's new and exciting. The brain kind of works that way. We like new experiences. Your brain is on high alert, right? Because the brain, we're wired that way. We're actually looking for danger. When it's something new, you're on the lookout. So you tend to be more in the moment than you are otherwise. But what happens when we get back home and, you know, you've got a pile of laundry and, oh, tax day is coming up real soon. And all those things, there's something they call being blinded by the familiar. You know what I'm talking about with that? Does anybody have those piles of things that sit on the table, on the counter? Right? When you're walking in the door, you throw the things down, and you don't see it until somebody says, oh, so-and-so's coming over for dinner. And you go, what? Oh, that's where that is, right? All of a sudden, things take on a different appearance. Right? You become very present to the moment. So we want to not be blinded by the familiar. Not be blinded by the familiar. What I'm going to invite from you is that we have a different way of seeing the familiar. You've heard the expression before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Could have said before inspiration, chop wood, carry water, after inspiration. But what I'm going to invite you to do is to find the inspiration while you're chopping the wood and carrying the water. By looking at those things in a different way. Okay. I'm going to invite you to know how to see. It's called Knowing How to See. My inspiration for much of this talk comes from this book. It's called Becoming a Life Change Artist, Creative Skills to Reinvent Yourself at Any Stage of Life. And many of the metaphors that they use have to do with art and canvases and painting and that sort of thing. And so Leonardo da Vinci, the word he used was, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Ed, you can tell me maybe, saper vedere, to know how to see, right? To know how to see. Because when we don't know how to see, we're destined to repeat patterns of the past. When we don't know how to see, and we become imprisoned. We become imprisoned in those old patterns. We become imprisoned by the familiar. So, knowing how to see is really the key to an inspired life, because we can use it anytime. You don't have to be on a 6-day cruise in the Western Caribbean to be inspired. It can happen anywhere, anytime, by being in the present moment. Knowing how to see is a lot like what Ernest Holmes says, right? Change your thinking, change your life. Know how to see, get a different perspective on things. And knowing how to see allows us to find new perspectives. It allows us to see things from different angles, to get a new picture, to get a bigger picture. It allows us to find new connections, ways that things may be connected that we may not have seen before. And it allows us to stay alive to new possibilities, which is where the inspiration happens, which is where the magic of life is, right? In the possibilities. So I'm going to teach you 4 things. I'm not going to teach you, I'm just going to remind you of 4 things that you already know of how to know how to see. And this things that artists do, these are things that you're doing. The first one is to step away from the canvas. To step away from the canvas. And that's what we've done on this cruise. That's why we take these retreats. It gives us an opportunity to step away from the familiar, from the things that we see, from the smaller picture, and step outside for a little bit and get another vision for it. See where you might need a little tweaking here or there. Right? We step away from our lives. We spend our time in spiritual practice. You don't have to get away on a cruise to do that. You can do that while you're in the shower, right? Just take a little time to separate and look at things from the larger perspective. Am I still on track to where I want to be? Why am I taking all these classes? Do I have to take them now? Oh yeah, if I want to graduate next year, I think I need to. Right? So you take those moments to just step back from the canvas and get another picture. The second way is to pay attention to the spaces between. Artists, when they paint, there's the picture they're trying to create, but there's space in those pictures. Now, if you think about it, there's spaces between everything. Spaces between objects, spaces between thoughts, spaces between words when we speak. If there were no spaces, everything would just be indistinguishable from anything else. We wouldn't exist, really. And maybe that's where the oneness, original oneness, the Big Bang idea, right? So there are spaces between, and kind of like the fish in water. If you ask the fish to describe the water, it probably couldn't tell you what it is because it's such a part of who it is and its environment that I think we don't even notice the spaces between. And for me, when we talk about spirit runs in and around and through all things, it's a beautiful concept and we can sit and think about it. But if you just intellectually, you just think about this, the spirit being in the spaces between, and your access to spirit in the spaces between. So the access to spirit in the spaces between you and I, which really isn't a space because it's all spirit. Right? The space between the thoughts in the silence is where the spirit is. The space between the words, where we find spirit. Isn't that cool? Right? So look for the spaces between and play that little game with yourself. You can what? Close your eyes for a minute. Let's think about this. The quality of God is peace. Feel yourself surrounded by that peace. The peace that runs in and around and through all things, connecting you to me, to everyone in this room, and everyone else on the ship, and everyone, all connected through those spaces between. Now the quality is love. Imagine the love that runs in and around and through all things in the spaces between you and me, and each of you, and everyone else on the ship, and everyone else everywhere. I know that we're all connected by that peace and that love. You can open your eyes again. Okay, so that was the second thing. Right? I'm going to step away from the canvas is the first. Notice the spaces between is the second. The third way to gain a new perspective is to turn the subject upside down. What painters do, so if you're looking at that chair and thinking, I want to recreate the chair, you bring all those preconceived ideas of what a chair is. So what the painter does, what the artist does, is take the subject and turn it upside down. And then it's no longer a chair, but it's colors, and it's variations of colors, right? It becomes an image. And so what we want to do is to take situations and turn them upside down. We can do that in a couple of ways, right? Turn your subject upside down. One of them, I'm most familiar with the work of Byron Katie. Anybody familiar with Byron Katie? And you know the idea where we don't should on ourselves or other people, right? So we turn the should into a could. Instead of saying he shouldn't, she shouldn't, they should, we say I could. He shouldn't be so selfish. She shouldn't be so greedy. They shouldn't be so lazy. We could say what? I could work harder. I could be more generous. What else? I could be more understanding. Yes, yes. And where's the power? When we say they should, where's the power? We're giving it away to someone else. When we say I could, we're taking it back. Exactly. And who do we have the control over? Us. Exactly. So we give our power away, and it's a waste when we get into the shoulding game. So we don't want to should, okay? Turn it upside down. Thanks for that, Tawana, too, right? Turning it upside down.
That's what I thought.
Isn't that fun? All the threads of what people have said here already. That's one way to do it. Turn it from they should, he should, she should to I could. That's a way to turn it upside down. Now, as my life often works, and I'm sure yours does the same as well, the laboratory of my life, I'm always given opportunities to try this stuff out. So I had an opportunity here. You've all been very involved in it, in turning a situation upside down, looking at it from a radically new perspective. I have this thing with competition. Have for many, many years since I was a child. And it comes from winning sometimes and losing. You know, you go on when you have competition, you've got winners and you've got losers. And I've been on both sides of it. And I don't really mind losing so much. I really don't. I don't have that competitive thing. But sometimes winning really bothers me. And it goes back to a childhood situation, you know, middle school, where I was winning a lot of things and I was seeing my friends not winning. And it hurt me. And I wanted their friendship. I wanted people to like me. Therefore, for the rest of my life, pretty much, I avoided competition whenever I could. Started my own business. I don't have to compete with anybody. I just compete with myself. So, lo and behold, what happens? I'm having so much fun, right? Singing. It's like, oh, wow, you're going to be in this competition. And it was fun for a while. And then, really strangely, I got a sore throat the next day. I was telling Teresa, she's like, oh, here, I've got some homeopathic medicine for you. And I thought, how interesting that I would get that sore throat. You know, maybe I won't have to sing on Friday. Or I won't be able to. I wasn't thinking I won't have to. I won't be able to sing. And I got to thinking about it. You know, and my classmates here have helped me through this quite a bit. And I really got a picture of myself. You know, some of you know I sang when I was a kid. I hadn't sung for 25 years till I found Centers for Spiritual Living. Helped me find my voice again. And I got to thinking about the many times that I've played small. I love sparkly things. I like to shine. But there are times when I don't let myself shine too much. And I found that I was holding myself back. I had to think of 25 years that I didn't sing. And all the other little times that I try not to sparkle too much. And I got to thinking about my son. And I've told some of you this story as well. My son, who's brilliant, a brilliant mind, could go to any school in the country that he wanted to, if he so chose. And he's getting ready to graduate. And as I'm getting ready to get on my cruise, come to the cruise, I get a call from the guidance counselor who says, Justin may not graduate, he failed English. How could this kid, who is so brilliant, fail English? Not because he can't, but because he's playing small. Wow. Wow. What did I have to do with that? I wonder. And so, with the help, some coaching from several of my classmates here, I'm ready to not play small anymore. I'm okay with sparkling. And you know, it's not from an ego thing anymore. I still don't like competition, but I understand that if I let my light shine, it gives other people permission to let theirs shine. It doesn't serve any of us to play small. Right? The light in this room, I mean, it has to shine. It has to shine. We're committed to this message, to this teaching that we say we're committed to. We do not only ourselves, but we're doing the movement, we're doing the world a disservice. We're not letting it shine. So no more playing small. All right, so you're turning things upside down. The last thing, and I think you guys all got this beautifully, is to cultivate the mind of a child. Right? Remember how to play? I know you all remember how to play. Yes. I have a wonderful example of this in my life. My son's girlfriend has a little boy who's 4 years old. And Aiden is just, he's a joy. I wouldn't love him anymore if he was my own grandson. And we tell Aiden, we're going to go pull weeds. And he says, oh, it's going to be so much fun. Aiden, we're taking the garbage to the dump. Want to come? Oh, it's going to be so much fun. And I'm thinking I've got a bag of dirty laundry now when I get home, and I'm trying to cultivate that. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. As I check those things off my to-do list, it's going to be so much fun. We just don't know what's ahead. It could be fun, right? It could be fun. It's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you look at it. And that's what we're training ourselves to do. To see, right? To look. To see with right vision. The reason we want to train ourselves in how to look, how to see, right, is because what we see is a reflection of who we are. Right? I was looking for one more good quote. Didn't go to lunch with you guys because I had to find that right quote. And I ran up to the room and I pulled out my Essential Artist Homes. And I have to tell you, I didn't know that this chapter was here, but it's called What We Are Looking For, We Are Looking At and With. Right? What we are looking for, we are looking at and with. So if you don't like what you're seeing out there, you don't make any difference, so you're not changing anything by shitting on other people, right? It's up to you to change it. So if it doesn't look right when it's right side up, turn it upside down. Look at the spaces between. Step away from the canvas. There's always other ways to look at it. And who knows what you might find. You might find that, hey, competition's not so bad. Right? So let me read you a quote here. From Ernest Holmes. I need my glasses. It says, the mind is the fashioning factor, and according to its range, vision, and positiveness will be the circumstance or experience. For example, if one sees only unlovingness in others, it is because the unlovingness is a strong element in himself. The light he throws on others is generated in his own soul, and he sees them as he chooses to see them. It's always our choice. You don't like what you're looking at? Change the way you're looking at it. When life created us, it gave us two great endowments of God. The two highest gifts of heaven, love and creativity. Love so that we may have confidence in life, a sense of security and peace and joy in living. Creativity so that we may live as persons and express ourselves individually. God never makes mistakes. No matter what it looks like. No matter what it looks like. You can always touch it up a little. Right? The paintbrush out. Touch it up. Everything is so ordained that when we learn to make right use of the laws of life, freedom, love, and beauty, happiness and wholeness must follow. Because life itself is neither weak, unhappy, nor inadequate. That's my time. Oh, I'm over. Well, in that case, my work here is done. And I thank you.